Hi guys, today I'm going to be previewing the boxing from the weekend. The first event I'm going to preview is the Ramirez versus Espinoza fight. Ramirez, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He got an Olympic gold medal in the 2016 Olympics in Rio, beating Shakur Stevenson in the final. It was a controversial decision. Ramirez, since he lost his debut in a 4-round decision, and then he's later avenged that loss. He's now a WBO world champion. He's had 13 fights, 1 loss, or 14 fights, sorry, 1 loss, and 8 knockouts. He's against Espinoza, who's never fought outside of Mexico. He's 21-0, 18 knockouts. So he's got some knockout power. I don't know much about Espinoza. I've never seen him box. But usually people who come out of Mexico with those big knockout ratios, it can go either one of two ways. They haven't even fought anyone, really. Or they're actually they're on that elite level and they've actually got good knockout power. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting fight. I think Ramirez will win. WBO champion. He's fought the better level of competition. He's at featherweight. He's WBO featherweight champion. He's fought Isaac Dogbo. He's fought Nova. He's fought forgotten the Irish guy that he fought on the Josh Taylor undercard, but he's fought Donovan. He's Donovan. So he's fought a decent level of competition. I'd like to see him get some unifications in, potentially against Lopez, but first he's got to get past Espinoza, and I think it'll be a decent fight. I expect Ramirez to come through it. Potentially a knockout, but Mexicans are usually quite durable, can take a lot of punishment, so potentially a wide points decision because of his better technical ability. The one thing I would say is Ramirez, I'd say, probably holds his feet a bit more since he's transitioned to a professional into the professional ranks instead of the amateur ranks. I'd say he's got a bit of a style similar to Canelo, so I would say he is open to getting hit. However, because he doesn't move his feet as much as what he used to, but I'd say also his head movement's very good, like a Canelo, so he doesn't get hit as much. But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting fight. I'm not going to preview the fights on the undercard because it's just prospects and they should probably win, but just a couple, just mentioning a couple prospects on the undercard. There's Xander Zayas, who I'm really excited about in the 154-pound super welterweight division, potentially fighting for a title next year or year after, I'd expect. There's also Carrington, Johnson, and Polanco. I've never heard of Polanco, but I've heard of Carrington and Johnson, and they're quite good up and coming prospects. So it's interesting to see how they get on. Yeah, I'll be potentially talking about Zayas in next week's preview or review, of the event, but I'm not going to review the fights because I don't really know who they're against, and they should all win. Then we move on to another fight card in America, which is slightly high profile, I'd say. Devin Haney moving up in weight from the 135-pound division to fight Regis Prograis, who some would probably consider the best at 140 pounds. However, I'd say Teofimo Lopez is, because Teofimo Lopez has had the better win, I'd say, against Josh Taylor. This is a really interesting fight, clash of styles. Devin Haney, more of the back foot boxer. He's got a good jab. That's his predominant weapon, I'd say. His backhand looks a bit awkward, sort of, because he's not used to throwing it as much, which I think someone of his level should be used to throwing it. He's got a good backhand, but I'd just say it's not as sharp as the jab. His jab's definitely his main weapon, and his front hand, educated lead hand work. He's good with the jab hooks, just He's very good with his left hand, basically. He's got 30 fights, never lost. He's got 15 knockouts, which makes me think he doesn't have much knockout power. Compared to Regis Prograis, who's had 30 fights, 29 wins, 1 loss, which was a controversial loss to Josh Taylor. It could have gone either way. And he's had 24 knockouts of those 29 wins. He's definitely got more power, I'd say, Regis Prograis. There's been a lot of talk about Regis Prograis not having much boxing skill. I would say he's not as skilled a boxer as Devin Haney, but I wouldn't say he doesn't have much skill. He's got very good head movement in the pocket. His last fight against Zorilla was a very underwhelming performance. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in this fight. I'll definitely be watching it potentially the day after. I am excited for this fight. It'd be interesting to see how Devin Haney gets on at the weight class above, because he's a very big 135-pound fighter, and he's got a lot of... Well, there's a lot of doubt about how much power he has as he moves through the weight divisions, but I've heard Eddie Hearn, I've read today, Eddie Hearn said that he expects Haney to have more power coming through the divisions. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen a bit, because I'd say I've seen videos of Devin Haney in training camp before, like probably a month or so before fights, so he's not cut that much weight and he's still around his walk around weight, and I'd say he looks to have a lot more power in his shots then. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that extra 5 pound does. Yeah, see how it goes. I think Regis Prograis is a very front-footed fighter. Doesn't have the best footwork, I'd say. Like, he doesn't change angles that much. He relies on his head movement a lot for his defense, and I'd say potentially Devin Haney, with the speed of his jab, would be able to pick off Regis Prograis and move around the ring. I'd say Devin Haney probably wins this fight on points. I wouldn't be surprised if Regis Prograis could potentially hurt him early in the fight and maybe get a stoppage. But yeah, I think Haney will probably win this on points. And then it's on to bigger fights for him. I'd say probably a unification, or if he gets what he wants or what he said he wants, move to 147 pound to fight for one of the titles probably. Then in the co-main event of that one, we've got Paro against Love. Love first came onto the scene to most fans, I'd say, when he beat Baranchik, who's had good fights. I think he's had a fight with Josh Taylor, lost to Josh Taylor. He had a fight of the year against Zepeda, where there was like 7 knockdowns in a couple rounds, I think. So that was a mental fight. Love has lost a fight now. He lost his last fight to Steve Sparks. That was a DQ, because I think Steve Sparks was probably winning the fight, and Montana Love got a bit annoyed and lost his focus, and he basically chucked him out the ring, which obviously deserves a disqualification. I'd say he's probably fought the better level of competition. He's beat Valenzuela and Baranchik. It's not an amazing level of competition, probably just below that elite world level. Or I'd say just below world level, not elite world level, just below world level. Paro has not fought either for a year. They've both not fought this year. Paro last beat Brock Jarvis in Australia when Eddie Hearn was building, or he did a fight card in Australia, and it was built as a Australia versus Australia fight. Beat Brock Jarvis in the first round, looked quite good. He's had some injury problems, I think. He's had 2 fight cancellations. He's had a fight against Robbie Davis Jr. Cancelled in the UK, and he's had a fight against, I believe, Regis Prograis. I think it was Regis Prograis. He was supposed to have a fight against Regis Prograis, and then he had to pull out, and Zorilla had the fight, which was a bit of a stinker. Yeah, I think I'm going to say Montana Love wins this fight. I'm going to say that hopefully he's learnt his lesson from his last fight. He's improved, hopefully. He's learnt to calm himself down a bit more, hopefully. Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch this fight. I think it's a good fight to see who then goes on to that world level and challenging for world titles, I think. Yeah, there's something else to mention is Paro has only fought once outside of Australia, and that fight was in America, and it was quite a close split decision, or not. It might have been a split decision or a very close decision. I haven't seen the fight, but it's interesting to note when his competition has stepped up, he's probably looked a bit. He's found it more difficult, I'd say. So it's just interesting to see who goes on from this fight to go on to that world level and possibly challenging for world titles. Then also on the undercard, got a prospect I'm really excited about, Andy Cruz, 1-0. He's had no knockouts. The reason I'm previewing this fight and not the prospects on the top rank show with Ramirez is because he's fighting Giovanni Straffon. He's a Mexican fighter, 26 wins, 5 losses, 19 of those wins by knockout. Andy Cruz is also a very good talent. He's won an Olympic gold medal twice. I think it's in the 2016 and 2020 Olympics, but the 2020 Olympics was obviously in 2021. He's beaten Keyshawn Davis, I think, 3 times, and Keyshawn Davis is a really big talent, really highly rated, potentially going to be fighting for a world title soon. This is for IBF in one of the rubbish belts, probably. So Andy Cruz will be high in the rankings if he wins this fight. Straffon, I know about Straffon from his knockout win against Tennyson. He's also lost on points to Maxi Hughes. Maxi Hughes outboxed him a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Cruz can just do that. Potentially get a stoppage. But I would say Straffon's got power, I think, but I think Andy Cruz will just be too good, too quick, too fast, have too good footwork, too good defense. He's just going to be too good, I think. So Andy Cruz will potentially, I'd say, probably by his 5th fight, he would have fought for a world title, probably that IBF title, which would be interesting because I think it was the IBF title that Lomachenko and Kambosos are fighting for. So Lomachenko, I think he won the Olympics twice versus Andy Cruz, 2-time Olympic. I'd be really looking forward to that fight, and I'd love to see it. Then we've got Chris Billam Smith. This is a Sunday show in the UK in Bournemouth, which is quite rare, but yeah, I think Boxer are doing a bit more Friday and Sunday shows, potentially to avoid the competition from other promotions on the Saturdays, which I think's smart. I'd probably recommend them doing it on a Friday because people who don't work Saturday and Sundays will be able to watch it, and the shows usually go on until about 11:30, 12-ish, so people working early on the Monday probably won't watch it, but I guess they know their viewing figures, and yeah. But the headliner of this is Chris Billam Smith versus Matthias Masternak. Masternak's on a 6-fight win streak. He's a bit of a veteran. He's won 47 fights, 31 of those by knockout. He's lost 5 fights. He's lost to people that are good boxers, able to move around the ring and just outpoint him. I don't think he's been stopped. I think the only time he's been stopped was a cut, potentially. Yeah, so he's on a 6-fight win streak. His notable losses, I don't really know the other ones, but 2 of his most notable losses were against Dorticus and Bellew, who are both elite cruiserweights, both been world champions. Yeah, there's no shame in losing to those guys. yeah, he's got a bit of power. Crispin and Smith, 18 wins, 1 loss. That 1 loss coming to Richard Riakporhe in a bit of a stinker. He beat Lance Coley in his last fight to win the world title. He's also beaten. Who else has Crispin Smith beaten? He's beaten Tommy McCarthy. He's beaten Isaac Chamberlain, who's now the British Cruiserweight champion. So he's definitely world level. I don't think he's going to be able to outbox Masternak, so I think it's going to be a bit of a war. It's going to be I would say it's going to be a war, which could mean Crispin Smith gets knocked out, could mean Masternak gets knocked out. It'd be interesting to see. I'm going to back the Brit in this one and say Crispin Smith gets a win. I would say Crispin Smith's got a good bit of power. It's not easy to knock Lance Coley down. I think he knocked him down 3 times in their last fight. So if he's able to do that, I'd say he's possibly able to knock out Masternak, and I'd say Crispin Smith 9 to 12 round stoppage, I'd say. But yeah, that'll definitely be a good fight. I'll be watching that probably the day after, and then I'll give a preview of it all on the Monday, hopefully. Yeah, good fight, a good weekend of fights, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks guys for listening. Please like and subscribe and comment on things that you would like me to improve, what videos you'd like me to see, or what videos you'd like me to do, and anything you want me to give my opinion on. Thanks guys.